recording now. So we'll begin with our daily review, and then I'll clear the chart and we'll work on drawing out some zones. Does everyone have a good day, good trading session? Indeed, very nice. Nice bullish day for Cozy. We have a nice open low, high, some New York manipulation here, and then back up, getting our close. So we started the day, we had our previous day New York PM manipulation down here with our PDL. And then, sorry, that was our AM manipulation zone that we had our standard deviations drawn from. Draw that SD 4.5 all the way across as well. And then we've had our PM one was in here. Sorry, our Q3 was in here. Zoomed out a little bit too far at the moment. So we started the day with Asia, and we had our Q3 manipulation to work from here, from our PM. We've had Asia has opened up into continuation, right? So we break here, we open up, expand up straight away, come back, retest that daily opening gap, and continue. So we hit that SD 1.5 straight away, and at 1.5 we're expecting that sort of a accumulation phase within here between 1 to 1.5. We then get our Q2 in Asia and expand up here to a standard deviation of 2. We then get a Q3 manipulation for Asia. So we get a break here, displacement, down to SD 1.5, and then we can look for that redistribution phase. So we can draw an OTE swing. We're going from the high down to the low. Let's drag that right across. And we have our 0.79 just special there. Back into the zone here. Tags that, and then we break down. Bit of consolidation here for that Q4. And then as soon as we hit Q1 in London, we get that stronger breaks here and expansion down. Smashing through SD 4.5 there, and coming back to that main zone that we started with from the day. Our Q3 New York PM manipulation zone. Always so important to have this one on at the start of the day, especially for Asia. So from here, we can draw our OTE swing from the low to the high. And that's what we have here. So we come back down to 705, didn't quite get 79 there. Into London. Normally we see this sort of move here, or the apex that we get, or the manipulation for London is normally over here in Q3. So a little bit early for the day here. So we come back into that zone. We get our break here just after 2 o'clock. So this is pretty important. Watching that 2 o'clock open, if we're thinking about the 4-hour candles. The 4-hour starts with our 2 o'clock candle here. So we've got our 2 o'clock open. And if we're thinking about a 2 to 6 hour move, we've opened low, broken above the open, creating the wick here of the 4-hour candle. So for London, this is where, as soon as we had this close above, this was where I got long here, straight off the zone, and treating this part as the wick of the 4-hour. We then put on our standard deviations and we just expand straight up to SD 1.5 straight away. have Asia high, so we always use the previous session high and low levels. Asia low here as well, sorry, was taken. And using those previous sessions, high and lows, align them with the standard deviation. So we got one just above there, 1.5 up here, close to the PDH. And then it's just kept expanding really nicely up to SD 2.5 here. Here, SD 2.5, going to another consolidation range into New York. A bit of an SBS here too, right? We have our swing out 1, 2, and then once we get the breaks of the low there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can target that high for the SBS, and then that's our manipulation that we got for New York. That was coming in Q3. More common, Q3 for New York AM. We have the low that made the high. This is also a 15-minute one here as well. Because this 5-minute candle is within these candle bodies, we can use that whole swing. Otherwise, I'm quite used to just using the smaller swing on the 5-minute, especially because I trade Asia and London and the moves are smaller. But we can do a deviation off that whole swing here as well. Let me put that magnet back on. You can see we have 2.5 on that larger swing. Very nicely down the bottom there. Whereas the smaller swing was done at 4.5 here. So we get a break, we come back in. I didn't quite actually have that on the right high there. Candle close below. Price unable to come very, very close there to the high. Unable to break above 925, and then a huge displacement. Straight down to SD 4.5. And if we do our OTE from that low to this high, we come back down to 0.79 again. So another 7.9 soup. Hey Cryptic, how you doing? 7.9 soup. We get a change state delivery here. We can have another zone on here if we wanted to for 10 o'clock. So then we've got the 10 o'clock has then opened low into a high close. So then we'll be looking to get in off the zone here and catch this expansion back up. Into the PM, we come back in, we retest our New York AM zone. Unable to even get inside there. It's just come back and mitigated this candle here, right? This was the high that caused the displacement, this breakout. So we come back in, mitigate the long orders here, and then start moving back down. So for the PM, we have quarter one break. We didn't get the body break until here. So once we got this body close, we can then do our OTE swing from the high to that low. Come back in, we get a 0.79 soup again. So if anyone took that 0.79 there with the stop above, it's quite a nice tight position. And we expand straight down, SD 1.5, pretty much to the tick. Small reaccumulation zone in there, or redistribution zone, and down to SD 2.5. Finishing off that swing, we bounce back up. Bit of a SBS here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So pretty nice day, and if we if we're looking at it as a PO3, right, we have one here. We have our accumulation, manipulation into London, expansion from there. We then get a whole nother manipulation swing here into New York, and then unable to close above there. So I think the best leg of the day was catching this one here from the low of the day from London coming up. Any questions on the day before I delete my chart? All right. The other thing I put in my channel as well was just talking about 0.25 of the daily range. So when we do an OTE, which we do at the start of every day, we're using the previous day high, previous day low. We draw in our OTE, which we have down here. And for Wednesday or Thursday bullish expansion days, a lot of the time we'll see price will only come back to that 2.5 level. Put in the low. So we're just drawing back into the daily candle, and then we get the expansion leg. So nice to note that 2.5 for the London manipulation. Nice tag there. And away she went. All right, so what we're looking at to help find a manipulation zone, and that was a good example leading into London. We really want to see those sort of accumulation ranges. And then we're normally paying attention to a lot of the time, 50% of the time we'll see it in those quarter threes. We do sometimes get these quarter ones or quarter twos. So when we are bullish, we're looking for, at the point here as we're coming back, we are looking for a bit of a V shape where it comes across, and that creates our zone that we're looking for. And then we're going to grab our rectangle box, and we're going to draw that on. So as this is playing out, this is why we want to make sure we have those session lows and the OTE areas and like our fixed range volume profile POC on as well. So as they're playing out, we're just waiting for that candle close above to confirm the zone. And we get it there. Then we can draw the box on. And we can expect that low to hold until it's not. If the low doesn't hold, then we're wrong with the zone. And it could have been like another continuation SBS, right? We have our breakdown, 1, 2, 3. You get a high that sweeps 2, and then it continues down. In those cases, then the correct zone ends up for that session, like that could have ended up being like a London quarter 3 with a 330 high, and we would break a low, we would come back, we would break this low, and then that would be the correct zone to use here. So as we're drawing the boxes on, we can just keep working on them and stacking them as they go until they start to break. So a good activity to do, each time we get the break of the highs, we can keep drawing and stacking boxes on as they go. So the main one is the low, and that's what we're drawing our standard deviations from. And then we can keep drawing the boxes on as it goes up until lows start getting taken. We can see we have expansion. We didn't get a recube in here, but we hit SD 2.5, and then we can expect some consolidation. So if we're doing the same thing, we've got a swing here. We get a break here from this one, but then we come back up. This is what you start to see in those consolidation ranges, which we're expecting after SD 2.5. And where people can get trapped in these ranges. So then we have the high here to the low. And then we've got our break. So now that low's gone. This was our high swing here. Straight back into that London zone. Respects that really well. We have another break here. So now we can draw another bullish box on. And you can just keep those going till we start to get the lows taken again. So we get our break here. Have our next break here. Another one here, low to the high. Didn't quite get the body close there. And then haven't got a body close under here. So good activity on the 5 minute. If it didn't get too messy for you guys. For people that are struggling still on the 5 minute, we just start stepping up time frames. So if we go to the 15 minute, we have our 15 minute swing, our 15 minute swing up here. Just keep working on those each day, right, as price is playing out. So we have our accumulation range, manipulation from the previous day on the 15 minute. We draw that swing on once we get that candle close here above. And then we can stay bullish until that low is taken. Even for this, right, when we're on the high time frame and the swings are big, we can just grab that whole swing. And stay bullish now until this low is taken. The next one we have is this swing. We're waiting for that high to get swept here. We can draw that one. Break above 50% of that zone. We break the high here. This is our main low. Price comes back, respects 50%. So we can still stay bullish until this low gets taken. We also have this swing here on the 15 minute. So this was the low that then caused the next breakout. Can step that up. Get rid of that one now. And then we have this 15-minute swing here. So if we break this today, if we come back up here and break this high, we can draw that on as a 15-minute zone. And then we can stay bullish until this low goes. Any questions? Very quiet in the chat today. Take off the time price here. Do you guys want me to do this on an even higher time frame? Which is what you see me do each week. So I use the 6 hour and the 4 hour. Even daily, if we can do that, go into the daily. So daily, if we're having trouble spotting where the manipulation swing is, we can start right at the very low. So we have our accumulation range here. We're into manipulation. We want to grab the high that made the low. We drag that across. We can add our standard deviation pool on that. We're looking at the SD 1.5. So now that we've hit the SD 1.5, we go into a reaccumulation. And on the daily, we can just keep mapping out the lows that do the breakouts, right? So all the same thing, we're just changing time frames. We can stay bullish until the lows that cause the breakout start getting swept. This swing, this low, respects the zone. We get our breakout here. Breakout, we get another low. And just where it starts to get tricky is when we go in. So once we hit the SD 1.5 and we go into that ideally reaccumulation, or you see an SBS, because that's when we are going to get a sweep of a low. Which we have here, but then we come back up and we break that high. We draw this one on. Some of the stuff you sort of see in London too, right? We might get a London manipulation here, we break out, NYAM comes up, sweeps that London manipulation and then continues up. Which just ends up being that SBS. We get our first swing, 1, 2, 3, oops, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, sweep 2, 5, continuation. So then we draw on, so this one. And then we got our break over here. So then we can draw the low to the high. If we get rid of our other drawings, sorry. So we now have this high swing. The low was broken. Respecting that 50% at the moment. And this remains our high until we get a break there. And then we can go change to these lows. If this becomes the low that created that breakout, then that becomes our main low. And then same thing, we just keep stacking them up as we go. Same thing, if you struggle to see them on the daily, we can just keep going higher and go to the weekly. We look for those first low pivots and then we can work our way up. So we get that breakout, our main swing. The SBS in here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweeps the high, takes the low. Redistribution zone. So this swing caused this break. And one here, and then we start to go back the other way. So we get our low there. So then we can change this one from the low to the high that made it. Low that caused the breakout. Low swing that caused the breakout. We get a break here. And then this one swings it back the other way. Still unable to break that low. Low swing that causes the breakout here, takes the high. Price did not come back to mitigate. Shorts used here. So trapped orders in here. Get that quarterly pullback in March. Comes back, mitigates the orders. Shoots off with strength back the other way. The same for this one, right? We go up, we don't retest that zone, and then it comes back here. And then you get the really strong moves off those zones. Into a SBS, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back up to the top. Draw on this swing. And low swing here that caused the next breakout. Still respecting 50% until we come over to here from February. We draw on this swing. Same thing too, as we're doing these, we can add those standard deviations. We've got 1.5, 2.5 tagged for that low by the looks. Hit 2.5, get the reversal. Or can stay bearish until we get that next breakout. Still watching these highs as well, which is actually really nice equal highs there. So accumulation, manipulation, expansion. Just like we're trying to catch on the 5 minute. 1, 2, 3. And then we've got, so this was sort of the last low that created that breakout. Low swing here. This guy. And as we're into that sort of consolidation or reaccumulation, we have that SBS. So breakout 1, 2, 3. That's when we do get that sweep. 4, 5. And at the moment, we're waiting for that breakout of the high. And once that happens, just like we looked at in the daily, we lock in this swing here. And weekly standard deviation. Any questions, guys? Chat is so quiet. Does that make it easier? So Exactly what we're doing here on that low time frame, on the high time frame, we're doing on the lower time frame. So we're looking for those main low pivots. They become our first zone that we're using. Ideally at the start of if we're starting Asia, we're looking for a New York PM, one of these, and an Asia to then retest. And we can stay long in Asia while that PM low holds, or if Asia sweeps, gives us another breakout, then we have an Asia zone. It's all the same sort of fractals, right? Like this could be New York PM, we come into Asia, Asia continuation, London comes back, retests Asia zone, we push up, New York does a huge sweep, sweeps London low, continues up. If this was on a 5-minute chart. You know, we have like an NFP day, get a huge sweep, we get a zone, come back into Asia the next day, continue up, London manipulation, push up, New York manipulation, continue up. It's all fractal. And then for extra help, we're using those quarters because we know that at least 50% of the time we're getting those zones within the quarter threes. And even better if it's swept a previous session. Right, like this. So we get our Asia low. We can look for a zone in this area. We get our break, we draw it on till the end of the day. And then that stays the low until this low gets taken. It stays as our zone until that low gets taken. And then we can step them up. So the next one that comes in, so now we have this coming into today. Watching 50% of this to hold as well. And we can draw on our high swings. And this was our PM. So we've already had that PM sweep here. So if we get a break above here today, then we can draw that on and stack that on as another one. You can see for this one, we didn't get the body close above here, right? All right, how are we going for time? Still got a little bit before Big jumps on for his stream. Do you guys want to keep watching and I'll set up my daily chart? Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'll just end the stream and start setting it up. All right. So first thing we do, we're going to do our previous day high. Drag this out to 1800. On our PDL. We're going to do OTE of that range. Just get rid of some of these zones. We're going to keep the high and the low zone on. OTE will be the other way around. We're looking for retracement OTE. Which we can see we're already at that 6.2, right? So we're into the previous day discount. Yes, it's being recorded. How you doing, Silk? Going to put on our fixed range volume profile. So we are doing that from PDL to PDH. And we want to see where the main volume was coming in, which was up here. So that's our point of control up here. See, it's pretty thin through here. That's why we're getting those huge moves straight through there. High volume node up here. When we do this too, and you see where you get these big high volume nodes in these areas, it works really well for Asia when you see the, like say we have a New York PM manipulation down here, and our previous daily range is like this, and we've done that, and we get a POC in that New York PM manipulation zone, always gives good confluence for the Asia longs to come in and to push back towards PDH. Whereas at the moment we've got it opposite. We're up here. So if we did have, if we were still up here, and we didn't have this sell-off in the PM, and we get, say, a sweep of the PM high here into Asia, and we come back and then retest that POC, then we can look for shorts to come back into the daily range down to the OTE. But we've already had this move, which is a bit annoying in the PM. So now we just got to sort of wait this out, I think, until we get a nice manipulation zone to work with to continue price back up, because we can look for a Friday high of the week. All right, so we've done PDH, PDL, our fixed range volume profile POC. We've got OTE of the daily range. We want our previous session levels on, which we've already swept that PM low. That's normally one of our draws on liquidity for Asia. Our PM high is not swept. All right, now I'm going to put in our vertical lines, and I've switched at the moment to make these 3 hours instead of 4 hours. So I want 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. And we'll just take off the indicator here. All right, so we now have our daily chart set up. We've got a main manipulation zone at the top, which we've seen we've had that rejection from our main one down the bottom from yesterday's London manipulation. Pop our deviations on those as well to watch for the day. And so this one, we're going to use that whole swing here, in case we do come deeper. A nice reaction now, 1900. So we swept that PM low, coming back. So we do have a zone in here now, right? So this, oh no, not quite. Sorry, I can't see because of this. Send that to the back. Okay, so this was the candle that created the low here at the 1800 open. So we're not getting a break until we break this high. So we either come back down and get another zone to work with, or we break that high and we can draw a zone on there. And we can use that moving up. And while this low is intact, we can still stick with these standard deviations. Be interesting to watch when I do my next review. So SD 2.5, reaccumulation, and then we have SD 3.5 and 4.5. So we can leave these on for the whole day of Friday. And next thing I'd like to look at is just using, I want to look at the 12-hour median levels. So we'll pop that on. Why 3 hours? I was waiting for that question. So I've just finished, did the pack trading bootcamp course over the last quarter of last year. And they made me aware of the 3 hour blocks. And I've been playing around with that for the last few months. And we tend to find that we're getting like these 3 hour expansions. If I put on some more of these lines so we can see 3 to 6 hour expansions. So that then allows me to work more with a 6 hour swing instead of a 4 hour and get a little bit more expansion. And I can use a 3 hour block to look for like those manipulation swings, or they call them an apex swing. So this one we had, I'll just go back 2100. All right, so we had 3 hours consolidation, 3 hour apex, which created our zone. And then we go into a 6 hour expansion. And then we can use those 3 hours to work out what we're going to do. So if we break this high, right, then we've got a good chance that we're going to have a 3 hour expansion here and not 3 hour consolidation. There's another reason why I want to look, like if we do, say this does go across and then we get 3 hour apex, then I want to catch 6 hour expansion from here to here and get this whole leg up. All right, so we've just, so I turned on C's here, and this is giving us our 12-hour internal range. So this is within that previous 12-hour. These are our 12-hour internal medians. So historic candles over the last 15 years, 50% of the time, we're hitting these median levels here. Hey BNB, how you doing? Can you get a link to the chat in TV? Yeah, I can drop it in the chat after. Yeah. I can also turn this on to see the external. So external range means when price historically has broken the H12. So once we break that H12 high, 50% of the time we're hitting here. It's our median, which is at 758. And external, if we're breaking below the 12-hour low, we've got 512. So this one here would be quite nice if we do come back down and then get another manipulation swing to continue up. Otherwise, we just keep continuing up and we break that high and go for that higher median that we're looking at. These are the previous 12-hour ones that I've just turned on for you guys to see. So this day was like external to external. So trending days are good, right? Because we're just looking for price to be in that sort of internal range and go down to the external range. You get these nice 12-hour trends. So I'm just using that indicator just for additional confluence and trying to map them out with the manipulation zones. And we'll just try the daily as well. Have a look. Just turn historic off so it doesn't get too messy. So daily's around similar area there as the H12. We can turn, we can put a box on this first 5-minute candle as well and watch that. So this being the first 5-minute candle that created the current low, which is also our current low of the day. And invalidation once that low gets taken. All right, guys, that's our daily chart setup. So it's from the Pack Trading Group, and they are by the Daily Profiler. He has a boot camp in there, which runs for 3 months at a time. Shoot me a DM, Mark, and I can give you the link. No worries. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope that helps and answers any questions for people that are having trouble trying to find and map the zones. So we've just gone through that on like daily, weekly, 15-minute, 5-minute. And if you're having trouble, just keep going up in time frames until you see those clear V-shaped lows or V-shaped highs that create the breakouts. And then just keep drawing the boxes on from there. All good. And it's being recorded. I'll pop this into my main channel as well. If you guys are wanting to long off this 1800 box while we're respecting that low before we get that breakout, so that just needs to be invalidation or stop loss down here. So what we could look for then, like as we get into 8 p.m, same thing, look for an open low continuation. You can do the same thing with the first 5 minutes of that hour swing. We're sort of looking for that to create a box to be the wick of that hour. And then you could look to get an entry once we break above the 5 minute of that 2000 8 p.m. candle. Otherwise, yeah, we do our consolidation. Maybe we get a sweep here, create a London low of the day, and we get a zone that we can work with. All good. Alrighty. We'll see you guys in the chat.